Yesterday, I had somewhat of a problem. I wanted to shoot a video showing all of the explaining everything on my what was represented on my train layout. Problem was, I was having trouble with the engines. All of my MTH engines were really messed up. I could get one engine to go, but I couldn't control it. It would just keep going. I couldn't stop it. The only way I could stop it was to shut the power off. And I thought that it was either the remote that had gone bad or the TIU. I'll go underneath. This is what I thought the problem was. It's called a track interface unit. Well, then when I took a closer look, you see that wire with the blue tag right there on it? You have a wire with a red, and then you have a wire with blue. Well, that's the ground wire. That had come disconnected. The stuff worked, but everything was all messed up. Once I reconnected it, everything worked fine, which I was quite delighted because that meant that I wouldn't have to take the TIU or the remote over to JR Junction and have them serviced. So today I'm going to continue with what I started yesterday, and I'm going to be explaining what the various things mean. Now, first of all, I'll let the train pass. Okay, we're going to go over to the plaza here. I made this sign, Murphy Memorial Plaza, dedicated to Sergeant Richard Murphy, killed in action in Korea, December 1st, 1950. Now, he was my dad's cousin, and my dad did not like MacArthur. He died in the Chosin Reservoir, and his body was never recovered. His remains are still there to this day. And my dad didn't like MacArthur because it was MacArthur that ordered those troops up into the Chosin Reservoir when there were warnings that the Chinese were planning to attack. MacArthur totally discounted it. And another thing is that I never showed off yesterday. Road sign. Those are the distances if you're heading east out of Fulton to Central Square, Constantia, Sylvan Beach, and Rome. You'll be going down Route 3, and we have the road which matches up with my main street. And Broadway would be Route 3. Over on this side, you can see Hannibal, Sterling, Red Creek, and Rochester if you're heading west. Now, over at Crispy's Tavern, what I have is posters of upcoming attractions. Roland Alfonso appearing at Crispy's Tavern. This man here represents Roland Alfonso, and this guy standing next to him holding the clipboard, he represents Roland Hall. I worked with him at Giovanni. He was named after this guy, so I got a figure playing a saxophone to represent him. Now, if I turn Roland around, you can see on his back, Boss Man. I made Roland a tag to put on his bump hat that said Boss Man. And after that, that was kind of like his nickname over at Giovanni. We called him Boss Man Roland. It was kind of a jab at a supervisor whose nickname was Queen Hell, who had this plaque in her office, this nameplate that said Boss Lady. So we made Roland the Boss Man. Now this man here that is golfing, you'll notice that he also has long brown hair. He represents a guy that I worked with named Paul Dahmer. He retired at the start of this year and moved down south where he came from. I think he moved down to South Carolina. He loved playing golf. We nicknamed him Putter Paul. When I showed him this figure, he wanted me to get him a figure just like it, so I did. I got him a figure just like it. He told me what colors he wanted it painted, pants and everything. And he paid me for the figure, so he brought the figure down with him to represent Putter Paul. Now over here at the theater, inside the ticket booth, you will see a girl inside the ticket booth. She has kind of reddish brown hair. That represents my sister Sherry. Sherry sold tickets at the State Theater. She worked in the ticket booth. And when I was a kid, my brother Joey would take me down and we would get in free to watch movies, provided they were movies that my parents thought we should watch. We weren't going to be watching anything R-rated. Now, let's zoom in on this guy right here. You see a man right over here. He's holding his hand out like he's shaking hands, and in front of the wooden Indian. He represents Joe Biden. If you recall on video, it showed him at a press conference. He was turning around and he was shaking hands with somebody that wasn't there. So I found a figure with shaking hands, and I've got him all around the layout, shaking hands with car doors, shaking hands with people that aren't there. So I've got Joe Biden on the train layout. Now I'll explain this a little more. This was put in because Cheryl's uncle Rocky Del Priore had passed away to cancer. He was Cheryl's uncle Rocky. He was her dad's brother. Rocky was really, really good to Chuck and Cheryl and the kids. And I wanted to do something in his memory. So I thought I would make him a lawyer. So here we have a poster, a picture from Rocky IV, where Rocky's fighting the Russian. I was very selective. I wanted to make sure it was a picture where Rocky was starting to win the fight. And it reads, "Need a lawyer? Call Rocky Del Priore, attorney at law. Let Rocky fight for you." And the phone number was Chuck's cell phone number. Now right here I have a poster that might be playing at the theater of, it's a Christmas poster, and it's hard to read. I might have to redo this. It says, Pixie Brisk is on Santa's naughty list. Now you can see that's Jen's sister Pixie. She passed away several years ago. And in this picture, it looks like she's crying, and Jen's got a big smile on her face. So I thought, okay, she's crying because now she's on Santa's naughty list. Now here, the station area, we've got a sailor here. That represents my Uncle Edward Hamilton, who I was named after. He was my mother's brother, and this represents him getting on the train and heading back to his base during World War II. He served in the Navy in the shore patrol, and he served down in New York City. He was only 16 when he signed up. my grandfather made him a deal that if he graduated from high school, he'd sign the papers so he could enlist. My grandfather had no idea that he was going to start doubling his classes, which he did, and he graduated at 16. Because he was so young, the Navy made him shore patrol. He was stationed in New York City, and he'd hop on a train and ride a train back home to Fulton for the weekend. Then on Sunday night, he'd jump on the train and go back to New York City to report to his base. So that would represent my Edward and his family saying goodbye to him as he's heading off back to his base. This is something I really like. It's called the Checkers Players, and what the set included was 2 men playing checkers, 2 men watching, and then a dog laying down. I thought this would be nice just on the back of the restaurant. People playing checkers behind the restaurant. Now these are figures titled The Cookout. It has a man cooking on a barbecue grill, and then 3 people, 2 people sitting in lounge chairs. And here they're having a cookout out behind the record shop. So that might be Joey having a cookout on the weekend with his family over, watching the train as it goes by. And I've already explained what this tree represents. This is Joey's tree. We called it the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Now here, over at Mike's Corner Store, we have a 1976 Cadillac. And if you look at the license plate, it says Big Mike. That was Cheryl's dad's nickname. They called him Big Mike. So I thought that I'd give him a Cadillac. Now right here, this truck right here, this delivery truck, this thing was a real challenge to find. What I wanted was a flatbed delivery truck, and I spent years searching for one. I finally found one. I don't know if I can scoot in there and show you the side of it. Okay. That's for Burke's Home Center. And ironically, I found that at the Fulton Train Show. It was like $7, so it was a great deal. And it was exactly what I wanted, so I simply put things for the on it that he might be delivering. Now over here, backed into Dragon Freight, what we have is the delivery van for JR Junction Train and Hobby. Okay, I've pulled it out so you can see. I've got the logo for JR Junction Train and Hobby in the side of the van. And then I've got JR Junction Train and Hobby on the doors. And you can also see it on the very front of the van as it drives towards you. There it is. I'll put it back in there. Here we have the Hudson's Dairy delivery truck. I've got the Hudson's Dairy logo